Boy, can I help you?
Listen up. I'm bringing you the best content to ever exist in the door-to-door industry, from sales, leadership, recruiting, and personal development.
Why would I need that?
Because never before have we been able to collaborate with the top experts in their industries, sharing their secrets and techniques on what makes them the best.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your host, Sam Taggart, creator of the DDD Experts and DDD Con. Is there a place we can sit down?
Well, come on in.
Vanilla is the fastest way to increase your Google and Facebook reviews through text. With a 98% open rate, Vanilla Reviews is the simplest, cheapest way to interact and engage with customers. Visit us at vanillagood.com for more information.
All right, everybody. My name's Sam Taggart, and this is the Door-to-Door Podcast. And I'm here in Kansas City, Missouri with Robbie Pedranti. What's that name from?
It's Italian.
Italian.
Yeah,
Pedranti.
Do you want to meet? Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. Well, that's good though. Most people butcher it way worse than that initially.
Okay. So anyway, we're here. We're going to talk about some really cool things about networking, and we're going to talk about overcoming adversities. He has a really cool story, and a lot of people in door-to-door, they don't come from they're like, oh, I got to look the part. I got to be this guy. And Robin's had an interesting upbringing and had to overcome some physical deficiencies where a lot of people would have almost shied away from doing door and said, I just need to be behind a computer and nobody should see me. And anyway, so if that's you and you're listening to this will be a really inspiring podcast for you. So I'm excited to have you on the show, Robin. Appreciate for taking the time.
Dude, I'm pumped to be here, man. Dude, I appreciate everything you're doing for the door-to-door industry, and Door-to-Door Con was obviously legit. So I was like, dude, any opportunity I have to get on here, let's do it, man.
Yeah. So you're currently at Hawks Pest Control.
Yep.
Been there for a few years now.
Yep.
Which welcome to the tribe, man. I mean, you guys just signed up with DDDU and Recruitomatic, and we're about to start working together a lot. So
I know, dude.
That'll be fun.
I'm excited.
Anyway, so let's dive into kind of your background. I mean, let's go back to like the initial kid moments. So if you're listening to this, talk to them a little bit about kind of what you were born with and kind of what you've had to deal with growing up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I was born in Sweden, actually. So I'm not from the United States. So I was born in Sweden. I moved around to a lot of different countries growing up. Lived in 6 different countries. That's what my dad's work just kind of took us around. And the reason I bring that up and why it's interesting is because I was born with a condition called Lymph Angioma. Right, so
Lymph Angioma?
Yeah, try saying that 5 times fast, right? And basically, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you can see like how like scarring on the right side of my face kind of affects, my upper lip a little bit. And it's basically, when I was born, it looked a lot worse than this even, right? I was born with like a big lump on my face that was like the size of a softball.
Wow.
Right? And so they had to do like multiple surgeries when I was born. In the first couple of days, just kind of get all that out. And this is basically what I was left with, right? And as a kid, right, when all you're trying to do is fit in and all you're trying to do is like make friends, and kids, as you know, are brutally honest, right? I mean, they don't lie about anything. Right? They just say how it is. That's why I love kids on the doors, by the way. Yeah, we do have spiders, Mom. Yeah, right. But they'll say how it is, and so I was faced with basically a physical issue that everyone can see. It's not like it was under my shirt. It's not something I could hide. It was right there. So when I was a little kid, I was pretty shy, right? And I didn't really want to meet new people all the time. Kids would always ask about it. Kids would call me weird, whatever. Kids are definitely brutally honest, right? Yeah. And that really affected me as a kid. Throughout the years, I had to learn how to cope with that and not only view it as a negative, but kind of turn it into a positive. And to be honest with you, if I didn't have this right now, I don't know if I would be in door-to-door. I don't know if I would be, doing as well financially as I am right now at 24 years old. I just don't know if that would have happened.
Yeah, so kind of fast forward to high school, how did you turn this whole deficiency or this mark or stain, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, of man, a lot of people might have shied and been the Phantom of the Opera, what I mean? I'm gonna put a mask on.
Yeah.
What would have you, how did you kind of start shifting your mindset around this to be more positive?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, it wasn't easy, number one. I mean, it was one of those things, especially as a teenager, right? I mean, everything's a popularity contest, right? I
Yep.
mean, you're trying to be the most popular kid in school, as a guy, you're trying to get all the girls or whatever. And so in my mind, I was just like, dude, no girls are gonna, want to talk to me, people aren't gonna think I'm cool. But I decided one day, and I don't know the exact day, some people have like the day that, this epiphany happened. I don't know exactly when, but I had this thought and I was like, look, I can either let this define me or I can, have it become a positive for me, and that's what I did. So I actually, instead of trying to hide myself, I actually went out of my way to do everything I could to be in front of as many people as I could, right? So I played football in high school, and everybody knew the football players, right? I mean, that was just kind of the way it was. And so that kind of elevated me to, okay, people know who I am, right? I was in theater class, not necessarily because I loved theater, but because I was like, dude, I got to get in front of people. And I got to get people to see me and see me for who I am, right? And so that was big for me because I'm in plays and all that kind of stuff, and just in front of hundreds to 1,000 people. I just had to do that because I was like, I can't let this hinder me. So then I became a professional magician, even, fun fact. I do magic tricks.
Who wants to see a magic trick? Give him a thumbs up if we should do a magic trick.
Dude, maybe I'll send a video to you. You can put that.
Okay.
Maybe I'll show you how to do a magic trick on the doors or something, right?
Okay.
But so I did that for a couple of years, and I got as many public speaking opportunities as I could. And now, I would be lying to you if I said it, I don't still feel the awkwardness sometimes, right? Every time I meet somebody, and this is why door-to-door is such an interesting job for me. Every time I knock on somebody's door, I know that one of the first things that they're thinking is not, what are you doing here? What are you selling? Which, okay, yes, they are. But at the end of the day, they're not like, okay, this is a cool guy. They're like, okay, what happened to his face? And not in like malicious
I thought
way.
it. And no, I thought it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to properly ask you. I was like, oh, he's got a thing.
Yeah.
But
And
I didn't know how to say it or what to say. Yeah, that's
right.
funny.
And it's not like most people don't think of it in the bad way or malicious, but they're just like, oh, dude, like what happened? I mean, I do the same thing. Like, if somebody's in a wheelchair for something, I want to, like, okay, like what happened? Was that an accident or something? Not like I'm looking down on him, but it's the same thing for me. And so I have to be able to overcome that on the doors, and I have to be able to move past that and really build rapport and get them to like me, because, some people think you have to be like, look a certain way or you have to fit a certain mold to do door to door, and you and I know that's not really the case.
Yeah.
Right. And so I had to turn it around, because I know at the end of the day, there's people in this world that have gone through way worse things than me that have still come out and done way bigger things than I've accomplished so far. So I'm like, dude, there's no excuse, right? Like, so, and to that point, door-to-door sales, when I was first approached by that, I was just like, dude, this is another thing. I'm going to be talking to 50, 60, 70, 80 people every single day. Dude, like, that's scary, right? Meeting new people is scary, right? But let's do it because it's going to challenge me. And honestly, like I said, if I didn't have this, I probably wouldn't be doing door-to-door right now. I don't know, wouldn't be making the kind of money I am right now. Like, who knows where I would be, right? I might be a hermit living in my parents' basement. I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah, because I bet you not even just with door-to-door, you've recruited quite a few people, and I'm sure it's the same thing. Do you ever feel like, man, I'm kind of the misfit, or like, what if they don't think I'm cool because of this? Or, I mean, I'm sure you still do.
100%, I still do. And the reality is everybody deals with that in one way or the other. Like, you're going to be lying to yourself no matter if you're like, you look like a Greek god, right? I mean, you still have insecurities about yourself, and it's not cool to talk about those, especially maybe as guys, but like, they're there and everybody has them. So everybody questions themselves on whether or not they want to, they are able to do something. So yeah, like, I still face that today, right? But the reality is I can either pack it up and say, dude, I can't sell because I don't look a certain way, I can't recruit guys, or I can just go out there and do it.
And just do it. And I think that's the principle. I think so many people, whether you're the perfect specimen being, that you leverage those insecurities as excuses to not take action, to not get results. And you're like, well, duh, I couldn't sell because of this, instead of just saying, well, everybody has something, I'm going to use this to my advantage. You probably make jokes about it now.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I bet you're like, do you make up like stories sometimes?
Oh, 100%.
Make it fun?
Like, rarely will people actually ask me on the doors. Like, people,
so you just
kids do sometimes, but like, sometimes I'll say like, oh yeah, dude, like 2 weeks ago, this dog got me real bad. Like, you see what I'm saying? And they're like, really? And I'm like, nah, I'm just playing. And then they'll like get a laugh or whatever. And so I'll use it to my advantage, right? And some, I've had like 1 or 2 people be actual dicks about it on the doors, but I'm just like, that's just like being a dick about anything else, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like, whatever. Like, I can't change it. It's fine. I'm married. I'm like,
It's like, I'm not looking to get a girlfriend right now. I'm good.
I'm good.
I love it. Okay, so let's transition a little bit. So, networking, a big piece of what we want to talk about was these 5 principles of networking. And so if you're listening, he's going to walk us through, I don't know these yet. So kind of a framework in these 5 steps to really building a powerful network. But not only that, it's how to set yourself up for success in networking and how to position yourself and how to make sure that you're structuring things right. So I'm excited to kind of walk through these principles. So kind of let's dive into step 1. Tell us about it.
Well, let's do it. So I mean, this is something that I've been doing pretty much my whole life, and I don't know if I necessarily had like a structured 5-step process for the longest time until recently, but I've kind of realized this is what I do. My whole thing is it's not what you know, it's who you know in this life. And in order to get in front of the people that you want to know, you have to show that you're worthy of that, right?
Yes.
Because the more successful a person is, the more valuable his time is, right? Like, you're not going to just be able to network with somebody just because you feel like you're entitled to do so,
Yes.
right? Like, I think that's a really common misconception, right? So let's just say, Sam, right? This is the first time we're actually meeting in person, right?
Yep.
We've had like texts and phone calls, but before Door-to-Door Con, you and I had never like talked or anything, right?
Nope.
But I was like, okay, Sam, this is a guy that I want to be able to network with, and this is a guy I want to position myself, and in your mind, I want to frame myself as somebody that you want to get to know, right? So there's a couple of ways I do this. So number 1 is I just call it reaching out to leaders, right? So you want to reach out to the people that are the leaders and are the most influential people that you know, right? Now this is important. Now this goes for, in door-to-door sales as well. So I'll kind of use this as an example. So let's just say you just got recruited and you're a first-year guy and you're stoked and you want to go just absolutely kill it. Your regional may be 3, 4, 5 people above you, right? Your regional may not even know who you are, depending on how big the region is, right? But I'm like, dude, if I want to be the most successful as I can, I need that regional to know who I am, and I need him to freaking like me.
Yep.
Right? So I'm going to reach out. I'm going to hit up my manager, and I'm going to be like, yo, give me the regional's number. I just want to hit him up real quick. And of course, he's going to be like, well, yeah, sure. Like, the regional's never going to say no, right? So then after that, you want to reach out to him, and you just be like, hey, what's up? My name's Robbie, right? And then step 2 is you need to make your intention known, okay? So for me, like, my story is I'm an equity partner in Hawks, right? Which means I own equity in one of the branches, and from the very moment that I got started with Hawks, I knew that was a possibility, and so I'm like, I'm doing that, right? So I'm like, dude, I hit up the CEO of the company, right? We were a little smaller at the time, so the CEO is very easily accessible, and he still is, but as companies grow, it gets harder to talk to the CEO. But I hit him up, and I'm like, hey, my name's Robbie, I'm gonna go out there and kill it for you this summer, and I want to be an equity partner. And I'm this guy, like, dude,
brand new guy, haven't even
guy,
showed anything,
right? And I did the same thing to my manager who recruited me. I'm like, dude, I'm going to be an equity partner. So reach out to the leaders and make intentions known, right? So that's step 1, step 2. Okay, step 3 is, this is where you start interacting with them. So step 3 is you want to ask for advice. The people you want to network with and the people that you want to get to know are people that are probably successful. You should be reaching out to those people. So if somebody's more successful than you, in my experience, there is no successful person that isn't willing to help out people that are below them. If you are a successful person, right, and you don't want to like help somebody out because they ask you for advice, then you're probably not as successful as you think. There's somebody way above you that's willing to help that person out.
Yeah.
Right? So like for me as a manager, anytime a first-year guy hits me up and I'm like, yeah, dude, like I have people from all across our company that I tell them like, dude, hit me up if you ever need anything. Dude, I don't get paid a dime on you. Right? But hit me up, right? Like I don't pretend to be some mentor or like I'm not a millionaire yet. But I want people to ask me for advice. And so like I would ask somebody for advice, nothing major. I'm not asking you to do something for me. I'm like, hey, Sam, I'm trying to recruit 30 guys. What's one tip you can give me to recruit 30 guys this summer? Right? And then you'll give me the tip.
Yeah.
And then here's where a lot of things get lost, right? Number 4 is you actually have to execute on that advice. One thing I've heard from a lot of successful people is if you talk to them and you ask for their advice and you do not act upon the advice that they give you, you're done getting advice from that person.
Yeah, it's kind of like I gave you the advice. Why do I keep giving you advice if you don't do anything?
Why am I still giving my time to you if you're not willing to take the time and actually do what I tell you to?
Yeah.
And successful people, right? Millionaires, whoever you're talking to, regionals, they're not going to be perfect. They're not going to give you the best advice all the time. But you have to show that you actually tried to execute.
Well, it's funny that you say that. So, you reached. Let's just go through this framework because you kind of did it to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you were like, oh, cool. Sam Taggart has Recruitomatic. Well, for me, I'm like, to take people serious, I'm like, there's a lot of people that were looking at the products and were looking at doing stuff and whatever and wanted good advice and wanted to learn and grow and recruit and all this stuff. But I'm like, not everybody wants to put their money where their mouth is.
Because everybody wants to grow. Like, in theory, that's great. Everybody wants to.
Everybody's like, well, this would be awesome. I need more recruits. I'm like, okay, just pay this much and I'll help you get more recruits. And they're like, and oh, well, not really. And I'm like, what? But you took a step further and you were like, I'm going to get 8 of my buddies to go do this too. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, and you said, how can I add value back to Sam? Connected me with JK. You were like, where's ways that I can go execute on Sam's like wants and needs and find where I can be significant. And then you were like, great, how do I show him I can execute? And you connected me before even making a commitment. You did this, and this, and then I was like, oh, fetch, like, I'll meet up with you in Kansas City. There were 7 other guys I could have met up with today in Kansas City that wanted to hang out. Yeah. And I was like, no, Robin put his money where his mouth is. He's legit. You could tell he's connected. And I was like, I need to meet this guy. This guy's a stud.
And I appreciate that. And that kind of goes into step 5, which is then offer to help. Right now, that's exactly right. I mean, this is probably the most important one, right? So, for example, right, it does, like, you're not giving me a referral credit. You're not giving me like a commission for getting the other guys, in Hawks set up with this. I just did it because number 1, I think it'll help them. But number 2, I'm like, dude, if I can provide as much value as I can for Sam, that's subconsciously going to guilt Sam into wanting to help me one day.
100%.
Right? Like, whether you like it or not, that's just how humans work. And so, like, for me, when I went in there at Hawks, right, dude, I'm going to be an equity partner. Okay, cool. Now Scott Wilson, who's the CEO, he knows my name, right? Jake Higley, the VP of sales, he knows my name. My managers know my name. Cool. So now I go out there and I'm getting advice. Dude, Dallas Heilman, he was the guy who recruited me. He was my manager at the time. I'm like, dude, how can I sell accounts? Right? Because now my goal is, dude, I'm being an equity partner. Right? But it's not like, Scott, what can I do to become an equity partner? It's, Dallas, how can I sell a lot? Because if I sell a lot, I can become an equity partner, right? So I kind of reverse engineer it. And so, but then I'm like, okay, in order for the owners to trust me with becoming an owner of the company, like I literally have a piece of the company, they have to see that I'm willing to help other people out, that I'm willing to go above and beyond. So my first year managing, dude, I basically managed 2 full teams while only getting paid on one of them, right? So I had another manager out there that I was helping manage his guys, didn't get paid a single dime in overrides on it, right? But I knew that if that gets back to Scott, right, if that gets back to the other people, they're gonna, oh, dude, this guy was willing to help other people out for nothing in return. So this guy's actually valuable to us. See, in this industry, I feel like it's too much take.
Listen, this is good. I like where you're going.
It's way too much take. How much money can I get out of you? Why won't you give me this? I'm entitled to this. I'm entitled to that. And do I know that I probably left some money on the table that first year because I wasn't able to maybe put as much time into my own sales? Maybe, right? But the long game, right? Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this a lot.
It's the
right?
long game.
If you're playing the long game, I'm like, dude, I'll sacrifice a little bit here.
Pay them. It's the cost of true relationship, true network.
Yeah.
The cost is that what you are willing to sacrifice, but the long game and the outcome is, it's like, if I try to gouge you for as much money as I can get out of you, to where you're making pennies on the dollar, and I'm sitting here just greedy as heck, I'm not.
Why would I have loyalty to you?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit there and say, well, this guy's just some greedy punk. Like, yeah, I want him around. Yeah, I'd rather have him here than somewhere else. but do I really see him as value?
And you're not going to fight for
I'm
that
not gonna
guy
fight.
when
I'm not
when the the crap hits the fan.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to see him as more of a taker instead of a giver.
Yep.
It's the concept, are you a taker or are you a giver? And if one of your guys is going to ask you or say, my leader, he's a giver, or my leader is a taker.
Yep.
My manager underneath me, he's a giver. My manager underneath me, he's a taker.
100%.
And it's this different balance between givers and takers. And I think to really grow a true network, it's what can I do to give? I mean, amen.
Yeah.
Write that down, people.
Yeah, and here's like the number one tip I would give anybody in this industry right now that wants to like build, not just sell a lot of accounts themselves, not just even necessarily recruit, but like really build and grow and like for sustainability. The number one thing you can do as an inexperienced rep, you have maybe 1 year under your belt or you're a rookie, is go in there, ask for advice from your manager, and be like, dude, I want to freaking I'm gonna hustle and I'm gonna get this done and I'm gonna start selling accounts. You have to produce, right? I mean, you have to execute and you have to do well. But the thing is I'm gonna hit up my manager and be like, dude, I know you just knocked with everybody already, but can you knock with me for one more time? Like, I'll come to your hood and like, let me just shadow you for a little bit and let me just learn for like 15 minutes, give me a nugget, and I'm gonna go back out there and keep working, right? So then as you progress in your skills, now you go to your manager and be like, hey, how can I help in the morning meetings? Is there anything I can do? Is there anything like I can help train on?
Yeah,
like,
I want to do the role play. I want to do the speech. I want to do,
right? So like anything like that, where now you're providing value to your manager. Because like as a manager, dude, like you know this, dude, it's hard out there.
Yeah.
Like you want to pull your hair out every single night, right? And so anything that people can do to help take, the weight off of your shoulders, dude, now I like you a lot more, Sam, because you just helped me out.
There's a whole different relationship there.
Bingo, right? And so because of that, right, now you start gaining a little bit of, cred with your manager, right? And then you're just gonna keep up this cycle, right? You're gonna execute and then you're gonna offer to help. And the number 5, offer to help, that's the most important one. Like, I would encourage you, help other people in your company recruit. Yeah, you're not going to make a dime off of him because he's not in your downline, but help him in a meeting if he wants it, right?
Because always, guys, the principle is the law of reciprocation.
100%.
And the law of reciprocation states, it's like if I helped you go get a recruit, didn't ask for an override,
Yep.
I know that it's going to come back around. It's so funny. I'll get guys hit me up all the time. Hey, Sam, I want your honest opinion. Where should I go work? Or, hey, can you connect me with a solar company? Or can you connect me with this pest control company? Or whatever, right? Yeah. I'll get those all the time, and I'll send a guy to a company, and they'll be like, well, what do you want on him? I'm like, nothing.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, just, I don't know.
Because it's such a foreign concept to people.
Yeah, they were like, it blows their mind. I'm like, I'm not going to ask you for an override. I'm just going to ask that you, like, one day when I need something, you hook me up. Like, and I just trust in the law of reciprocation, and I think so many people in this industry, because it's been diluted with greed and hurt with like kind of entitlement, is there's lack of trust in the reciprocation.
100%. Yeah.
Nuggets.
What goes around comes around.
Yep.
I really believe that. And so, dude, just put out as many good things to the people around you as you can, and that's going to come back to you. And so especially when you're trying to like connect with the people that are above you, that are more successful than you, I believe in the law, can't remember what it's called, but like you're the average of the 5 people you can't spend most time with. Dude, I believe that. So I'm like, I want to be a millionaire. How can I provide value to other millionaires? Because then eventually, because they like me enough, somehow my association with them is going to make me a millionaire.
So true. So true.
And I have to be able to do it knowing, dude, Sam, maybe you don't give me anything in return. And I have to be okay with that. It's not like I'm trying to help you. Just, dude, I'm going to help Sam, so one day he for sure will help me, and if he doesn't, I hate that guy. Because that's how a lot of people look at it too.
Yeah, they hold it above them.
Yep, it's like, remember that one time I did a favor for you? Like, no, just do it, and do that for enough people, and you're going to start getting stuff back. But you have to give more than you expect to get in return.
Amen. Okay, so let's transition a little bit.
Okay.
This has been insane nuggets. So if you're listening to this or on this, give this a heart or a thumbs up, or comment something that maybe you've taken away out of this, or share this with somebody that you're like, hey, I know they're looking to build their network. Because a lot of times, everybody needs some support and good content. So just give this out, share this out. We're giving value. We're actually practicing what we're preaching right now.
Well, and that's what you're doing with your podcast, right? Like you don't charge them to listen to the podcast.
Well, I'm gonna start. No.
Right. Maybe a monthly fee.
I'm
right?
just playing.
But yeah, like you're not doing that, but you're providing that value. I mean, you look at guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone's, like a lot of these people, I'm talking social media now, but they're just trying to provide value for you guys. So yeah, one day they hope that you will buy their crap.
Yeah.
Right? But at the end of the day, if you don't, they still provided you with as much value as they could.
Exactly. It's
Right.
like if you buy it, great. If you don't, hopefully you keep watching the podcast. Great.
Exactly. And this is, and sorry, last thing, but this is great if you want to just build influence with everybody. This will help influence you as well. Or help you
100%.
build influence. But more than that, like do this to the people that you are trying to get lunches with. Like try to get in the lunch with as many millionaires as you can, right? Like I've done this with a bunch of people. One guy, Justin Prince, he speaks to our company a lot. He's friends with one of the owners of the company. He's a multi-millionaire. First time he spoke to us, what do you think I did? First thing I did right afterwards, I walked right up to him and said, "Hi, I'm Robbie. How you doing?" And then I just introduced him. I connected with the leader, right? I asked him for some advice, right? I went and executed on the advice, and then I just happened to run into him at a Nike store, right? Like several months later. I could have just been like, "Oh, dude, that's Justin." I walked right up to him and was like, "Justin, how you doing?" And he remembered the conversation we had, and he asked me, "So how did that go?" And I was like, I actually did that. Actually didn't quite work out as well as I was hoping, but how, is there any other advice? And then dude, him and I are friends now, and he's a multi-millionaire, right?
Huge.
Because I'm willing to put myself out there and provide value as well for him however I can. I've offered as many, a lot of times, if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so one piece of advice, if you were to give it doesn't have to be on this topic.
Cool.
I always finish with the question, one piece of advice for the door-to-door industry, what would that be?
For the industry or an individual?
It could be the rep, it could be the manager, it could be the industry, it could be pest control guy, it could be whatever.
Think long term, because too many people, I told Scott that I wanted to be an equity partner, but the truth be told, after my first summer, I almost didn't come back to do it again. I made a lot of money, but I was like, dude, I don't know if I want to do door to door. But I was thinking long term just in case, right? So when you're getting started or you're doing this, think long term. Don't think that you're going to do this door to door thing for 1 to 2 years. You may. That may be all you do, but you need to plan as if you're going to do it for 10. Because if you're planning for doing it for 10, then the value that you're creating and the foundation that you're putting down is going to be a lot more sturdy than if you're like, "Oh, I'm going to do it for 1 year, last second, oh, I'm coming back again.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm coming back again." Because once you start making the money, it's hard to get out of it. Right? People don't realize that.
Just run now, guys.
Yeah.
Just quit now.
If you're going to quit before you start.
Yeah, quit before you start.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
Can't get out.
No, but that's the thing, though. It's
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't appreciate how awesome this job is because they're so focused on the pain associated with how hard the job is, right?
It's hard.
It sucks. It's hard. It's I don't know if I could even do another summer, right?
Yeah,
and you're like, really? I'm about to go do this again?
Yeah.
And those feelings come up for pretty much everybody. And
if
so
it doesn't, you're weird, dude.
Yeah, it's like
you're a freak.
No,
Props.
I mean, literally, I was out in San Diego last weekend knocking, and I'm like, I'm out here again. Here we go. Like, hopefully today works out. Like, I don't know if I'm going to sell one. You know what I mean? I still get the butterflies.
Yeah.
But it's like committing to that long-term play. You're going to make you're going to make better decisions today, knowing you're playing the long game instead of just trying to get through the 4 months and quit. You know what I mean?
You're building that foundation, and you see the guys that the ones that bounce from company to company to company, always seeking for the one little better thing. They're playing the short game. They're not playing the long game, right? And so, just play the long game in door-to-door sales and life. If you do that, if you're willing to eat crap for 10 years, you're gonna make it out all right at the end.
Amen. Okay, well, much love. Thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Dude, thanks for having me, man. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hey, we'll see you guys. Give some love.